What's good, bitches? I am the TheMassaCreature, and in this video I'm going to address another controversial topic, God and the Pledge of Allegiance. Now, this is from a secular perspective. Let's look at history. The Pledge of Allegiance is an oath of loyalty to the flag and the Republic of the United States, which is commendable. Is it mandatory to recite in order to be loyal to the United States and all of its privileges, rights, and freedoms? No. But it is commendable to have, and it is merely a conventional method of expressing your loyalty to the United States, which is just a way of saying you're grateful for everything you're fortunate to have, so you don't take it for granted. Nobody's going to be inadvertently encouraged to pursue a life of terrorism if they don't recite the pledge in their life, or even be cognizant of its significance, which is all subject to individual interpretation and subjective perspective. Anyway, it was originally composed by Francis Bellamy in 1892 and formally adopted by Congress as the national pledge in 1942. Bellamy viewed his pledge as an inoculation that would protect immigrants and native-born, insufficiently patriotic Americans from the virus of radicalism and subversion. In other words, he wanted to discourage anyone from considering overthrowing or destroying our legally constituted forms of government for any stupid fucking reason. He even wanted to use the word equality in the fucking pledge, but the state superintendents of education on his committee were like, no, women cannot be equal. African Americans cannot be equal, so equality will never be added. And it was never added. But those motherfuckers wouldn't be happy living in 2011, would they? Because women and African Americans have equality now. And thank Cthulhu for that. Let the record show that the Pledge of Allegiance never stayed the same throughout history. In 1892, it was, I pledge allegiance to my flag and the republic for which it stands, one nation indivisible with liberty and justice for all. Simple enough. From 1892 to 1923, it was, I pledge allegiance to my flag and to the republic for which it stands, one nation indivisible with liberty and justice for all. From 1923 to 1924, it was, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation indivisible with liberty and justice for all. From 1924 to 1954, it was, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation indivisible with liberty and justice for all. In 1954, it was, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, liberty, and justice for all. From this substantiation, we hereby acknowledge that under God was not a fundamental piece of the pledge as opposed to with liberty and justice for all. So why in the fuck was it added in the first place? Louis A. Bowman was the first to initiate the addition of under God to the pledge. He stated that the phrase comes from Abraham Lincoln's Gettysburg Address, at least in various different drafts of it. Fair enough. Lincoln believed in God. Good for him. Doesn't fucking mean everybody else does. Obviously, anyone who is Christian or simply believes in God or a God most likely won't contend against the addition of these words. Some critics believe that requiring or promoting the phrase under God violates protections against establishment of religion guaranteed in the Establishment Clause of the First Amendment. Lincoln believed in God. Under God was in the Gettysburg Address. Endowed by their creator was in the Declaration of Independence. Thomas Jefferson said, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Little did DJ know that the endowed by their creator part is not self-evident, but it is a matter of faith, and there is no evidence to validate the existence of a God or anything that is derived from faith. Simply because Lincoln and TJ believed in God doesn't mean anybody else does, or everybody else does, rather. So why put it in the Pledge of Allegiance? In a nation where its inhabitants can and will follow any conceivable religion or faith, not just Christianity, assuming that this God is the Christian God in the first place, which it doesn't, and its inhabitants are protected under the law regardless of their faith or religion or lack thereof, why put it in the Pledge of Allegiance? Why do you need to incorporate faith with politics? Can you not bestow a nation's inhabitants equality under the law and liberty and justice for all without faith? If not, then why does an atheist have no more or less equality under the law than a Christian or anyone else of any religion? It seems as though under God is quite irrelevant to the concept of being politically and legally indivisible, especially in regards to an individual's faith or lack thereof. When you assess the concept of liberty and justice for all, we're protected under the First Amendment to our liberties of freedom of speech, freedom of petition, freedom of the press, freedom of assembly, and freedom of religion. So we have liberty and justice for all in the pledge, which includes freedom of religion in the First Amendment, but we have it under God. We have the liberty to follow any religion and worship any deity under God. We have the liberty to follow Judaism under God. We have the liberty to follow Islam under God. We have the liberty to follow Buddhism under God. We have the liberty to follow Hinduism under God. We have the liberty to follow Shinto under God. We have the liberty to follow Sikhism under God. We have the liberty to follow Baha'i under God. We have the liberty to follow Jainism under God. We have the liberty to follow Satanism under God. We have the liberty to follow Wicca under God. We have the liberty to follow religions that worship Zeus or Thor or Cthulhu or Iluvatar or Morgoth or the Flying Spaghetti Monster or no deity at all under God. What's the point? What's the fucking point? I'm not saying it's harmful, but how is it not just fucking meaningless? If you have, there is liberty and justice for all in the Declaration of Independence, or the Pledge of Allegiance. Yeah, that's what I meant. Pledge of Allegiance. If you have that in the Pledge of Allegiance, and you have liberty and justice for all to follow any religion, why would you need to be selective about one deity as if it has any relevance or is in any way substantial? How is what a past president believes relevant to our legal system today of providing liberty and justice for all to our inhabitants? If everyone doesn't believe in God, if we have the freedom to believe in any deity and follow any religion or any mythology, if we have equal protection under the law, equal rights under the legal principle of due process, equal right to remain silent, equal right to have an attorney even if we can't afford one, equal right to trial, equal freedoms from cruel and unusual punishments regardless of our faith or lack thereof, what fucking substantial ass purpose does it serve for under God to be in this Pledge of Allegiance? Yes, it's not mandatory or even necessary to recite the pledge. I get that. Don't straw man me. But if you're going to have this pledge exist, what fucking substantial ass purpose does it serve for under God to be in this voluntary Pledge of Allegiance? I have a simple suggestion. How about instead of under God, you change it to under the Constitution? It seems more applicable to me. If you're afraid of Jehovah's Witnesses getting pissed at you, well, what could they possibly do? Sue you, even though freedom of religion is in the First Amendment? What if Muslims sued you? Oh, they don't count, do they? Because Lincoln wasn't a Muslim. Oh, fuck you and your narcissism. What would it matter if you have freedom of religion? Freedom of religion doesn't mean being selective about a deity, no matter who fucking believes in it. No law is being made that prohibits an act or practice of religion or forces anyone to believe in God. So it's not harmful. But how is it just not fucking meaningless? In this day and age, if we have freedom of religion, why would we need to pertain to a deity when pertaining to our liberties and justice in the Pledge of Allegiance? Our Pledge of Allegiance went without under God longer than it's even had it. And if it's been changed once, you can change it again. If it's not mandatory site, if it's just something to honor our country, why would you want anything meaningless to be inscribed without which we used to honor our country? If it's not meaningless, give me an answer to my questions. And if you do, make sure you answer all of them. I know I said a lot of them. I know I had a lot of questions, so no red herrings, or I will designate them for assessments. My suggestion, from the eyes of a secularist, take God out of the supposedly universally applicable pledge of honoring our indivisible liberties and justice, and replace it with under the Constitution, for a truly universally applicable manner of honoring our indivisible liberty and justice. Also, if we do have indivisible liberty and justice for all, how come heterosexuals have a right to marry and adopt in all states, but homosexuals don't? I'm just saying, last time I checked, it was liberty and justice for all and not liberty and justice for heterosexuals. But anyway. Sonic. Damn it, I'm stepping on my cord. Sonic. Wow, my cord is actually under my chair. I put my Sonic up on the shelf because I don't want anyone to grab it. Thumbs up for Sonic. Thumbs up for honoring the pledge. And thumbs up for this dickhead I drew. Dickhead, this is a dickhead with flaming hands and wolf legs, and he has a tie because he is sexy. And we don't like strawmans and red herrings, do we? No, we fucking don't. Sorry, I didn't mean to drop you on the floor, son. Okay, this video is pretty much over, so peace out. Bye-bye. That's him saying that, not me. Because I have to go. Stick to your guns and light your fucking path! Bitches! Bitches! Bitches!